Dark clouds rolled across the red sky of planet Arcturus. Cold wind moved through the graveyard, making the dead trees whisper like ghosts. The ground was soft, still wet from last night's acid rain. Two alien gravediggers stood over a shallow hole. They dropped a strange, small body inside a female alien, with pale silver skin and long dark markings on her arms. Her eyes were closed. Her body didn't move. Her name was Alira, but no one cared anymore. She's unalive, one gravedigger said flatly. She was a traitor. Let her rot here, the other replied. They didn't bother to bury her deep. Just a thin layer of dirt, a few rocks, and they were gone. No ceremony. No goodbye. The graveyard was far from the city, full of forgotten people. A place where no one came except him. Meanwhile, a human soldier named Ryan Hawley walked quietly through the ruins of the battlefield nearby. He had been part of the peace mission between Earth and the Arcturan Empire. But the mission had failed. The war ended in silence, with both sides broken. Now, Ryan stayed behind. He searched old places, trying to understand what really happened. He didn't trust the reports. Something felt wrong. His boots crunched on burned grass. His eyes scanned the ground, always alert. He wasn't expecting to find anyone or anything. But then he heard it. A sound. It was soft. A kind of whisper. He stopped. What was that? The sound came again. Like a breath, weak. From somewhere near the graves, Ryan turned, walking slowly. His hand touched his sidearm. As he got closer to the pile of rocks and dirt, he heard it again. A small, choked breath. A whisper of life. Ryan dropped to his knees and started digging. Minutes passed. Dirt got under his nails. His hands were bleeding, but he didn't stop. Something deep inside told him, there's someone still alive here. Then, he saw it. A hand. Thin, shaking, grayish white. Not moving much, but it was warm, alive. Hey, stay with me, Ryan said, pulling away more dirt. Finally, he uncovered her face. Her eyes blinked open barely. She looked at him. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Only fear. Fear and confusion. Ryan stared at her, shocked. You're alive, but why did they bury you? He opened his backpack and pulled out his med kit. He injected her with a small dose of emergency stim fluid. Her breathing became a little stronger. I don't know who you are, Ryan said gently, but you're not dying here. He picked her up, light as a feather in his arms. Her body was cold, trembling. She was so weak, like a candle ready to go out. He took her to a nearby shelter, an old human outpost long abandoned. Inside, he laid her down on a soft surface and covered her with a blanket. He gave her a little water, drop by drop. Slowly, color returned to her face. Her lips moved again. This time he heard something. Why? She whispered. Why what? He asked. Why? Did you save me? Ryan looked into her tired, broken eyes. Because you were alive. That's reason enough. Tears slipped from her eyes. She wasn't used to kindness, not anymore. As night fell, Ryan sat near the door, watching the storm outside. Lightning flashed across the sky, followed by thunder that shook the walls. He looked at the alien girl, who was now asleep, breathing slowly. Who was she? Why was she left to die like that? This was no accident. Aliens didn't bury their dead in shame, unless they wanted to erase them completely. That meant she knew something. Or someone wanted her gone. He had questions. She had answers. But for now, she needed rest. Outside, far away in the city, a black drone hovered in silence. Its red eye blinked as it scanned the graveyard. The grave was empty. Target missing. Asterisk. The wind howled like a warning outside the shelter, but inside, there was only silence. Until she gasped. Alira's body jolted. Her eyes flew open, glowing faintly in the dark. She sat up too fast and groaned in pain, clutching her side. Panic filled her face. Her breaths were sharp and fast. Ryan jumped to his feet. "Hey, easy, easy. You're safe now." She stared at him like he was a ghost. Her voice cracked. "Where am I?" "Old human outpost. Abandoned after the war," he replied calmly. "You were buried alive. I pulled you out." She touched her own chest as if not believing she was still here. I felt my heart stop." "It didn't," Ryan said. "Not yet." Her body was weak, but her mind was waking up fast. "No one was supposed to find me," she whispered. "They left me to disappear." "Who?" Ryan asked. "Your own people?" She looked away, her hands trembling. Her silence was an answer. Moments later, Ryan made warm broth from military rations. Illyra drank slowly, staring into the flames of a small heat lamp. Her skin had started to lose its cold gray shade. A bit of life had returned. "You don't know me," she said suddenly, her voice soft but clear. "Why did you care?" "I'm not like them," Ryan replied. She looked at him, her voice sharper now. "Then you're in danger too." Before Ryan could speak, she reached for a marking on her neck. It was a dark symbol, half erased, like someone had tried to remove it. "I was a voice. A warning. They called me a traitor," she said. "But I only spoke the truth." "What truth?" Ryan asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked toward the door. "They'll come for me. They never leave loose ends." Back in the city, a tall alien officer stood before a red hologram. On it, Illyra's grave was displayed empty. The officer's jaw tightened. "She was supposed to be dead. Shall we send a hunter team?" Another voice asked. "No," the officer said. "Send one scout. Make sure she's really alive." If the humans helped her. The threat hung in the air like a knife back at the shelter. Ryan moved to seal the windows tighter. "They think you're dead. They won't look here." "You don't understand," Illyra said. "They don't stop. Not until the secret dies with me." Ryan sat across from her. "Then tell me, what are they trying to hide?" Illyra's eyes glowed softly in the dark. "Something buried, not just me. A weapon, a message. Something that could destroy everything they built. You have proof?" Ryan asked. She nodded. "But it's not here." Ryan looked at her seriously. "Then we find it, together." Outside, a faint red dot blinked on a nearby hill. A hunter drone had arrived, and it was watching. The sound was soft, just one faint click. Ryan's eyes snapped open. He reached for his weapon silently. The room was still dark, only lit by the dying glow of the heat lamp. Illyra was asleep, her breath steady now, peaceful, for the first time since she was buried alive. But outside, something moved. Not the wind, not the storm. Something watching. Ryan crawled to the narrow window, barely breathing. Through the crack, he saw a glimmer red, blinking once, then twice. His heart dropped. "A tracker drone," he whispered. Illyra's eyes opened instantly, as if her body already knew the danger. Meanwhile, high above in orbit, the alien scout pilot leaned over his console. "Target found. Signal locked." He smirked. She didn't stay dead after all. Back in the shelter. "They're here," Illyra said in a quiet, broken voice. "They won't ask questions. They'll just erase me for real this time." Ryan moved fast, gathering supplies. "Then we run, now." Illyra tried to stand but stumbled. Her legs still weak. Without thinking, Ryan caught her. "I got you." For a moment, their eyes met, an alien and a human, two enemies by fate. But right now, they only had each other. Ryan lifted her into his arms and stepped into the night. The chase began. The forest outside was thick and dark. Each step was slow. Ryan moved carefully between trees, holding Illyra close. His ears stayed alert. The drone followed from above, silent and patient. Suddenly beep. A red light scanned the trees. Ryan ducked behind a large rock. Lyra whispered, "That drone can call ground troops. If it tags us, we're finished." "Then I'll take it out," Ryan said. He pulled out a signal jammer and a flare. "What are you doing?" she asked. He gave a quick grin. "Making a very loud distraction." In the sky, the flare shot up like a star, exploding into bright red sparks. The drone turned fast, confused by the sudden light. Ryan ran the opposite way, Lyra on his back, but now they were fully exposed. The drone changed its tone. Beep. It had seen them. Lyra looked over Ryan's shoulder. "It's calling the scouts. They'll be here in minutes." Minutes away, an alien gunship powered up, loaded with 2 elite hunters. "They're moving southeast," the commander said. "Lock weapons. Bring her back dead or alive." Back on the ground, Ryan found an old transport tunnel half collapsed but still deep enough to hide. He ducked inside and set Lyra down. "We buy time here," he said. Lyra leaned against the wall, still breathing hard. "They sent hunters," she said. "Only high targets get hunters." "They must be afraid of what I know." Ryan crouched beside her. "Then tell me what's so dangerous." "They'd rather kill you than let you speak." She looked at him, eyes glowing softly in the dark. "There's something hidden," she said. "Not just a weapon, a memory crystal. It holds a truth about Earth, about why the war really started." Ryan's blood ran cold. "Where is it?" "Far," she whispered. "But if we reach it, everything changes." Above them, the drone hovered. And somewhere close the hunters were landing. Asterisk. The fire crackled in silence. Rain fell hard on the roof of the hidden cave, deep inside the forgotten mountain range. Lightning flashed outside, but inside Ryan stared at the strange object Lyra held in her hands. It looked like a black stone. But when she touched it, it glowed with deep blue lines like veins pulsing with life. "This was inside me," Lyra whispered, "hidden under my skin since childhood. I didn't even know it was there, until the day they tried to erase me." Ryan leaned forward. "What is it?" Lyra looked at him, tired, wounded, but more alive than ever. "It's a key," she said, "to the memory vault, and to the truth that nearly got me killed." Flashback. Years earlier, young Lyra stood in the royal hall of the House Virel. Her mother, the matriarch, towered above her, cold and proud. "Truth does not serve us," the matriarch had said. "Truth breaks order." Lyra had been a loyal soldier, a rising star, but then she saw something she wasn't supposed to, back in the cave. Lyra's voice was low. "The House Virel started the war. Not Earth, not by accident. It was planned." Ryan froze. "Planned? Why?" "They wanted something buried under your planet," she said. "A power source, ancient, not human. But Earth was in the way." Ryan's mind raced. "So they blamed humans, started a war, to cover a secret dig?" Lyra nodded. "And when I found out, they branded me a traitor, my own family. My sister gave the order to bury me. Suddenly, beep, beep." Ryan looked at his scanner. Movement, just outside. Lyra stood up quickly, fire in her eyes. "Then we go. We're close to the archive vault. If I can access it with this key, we'll have proof." Moments later, old Virel archives. They stood before a sealed door built into the mountain rock. Alien symbols glowed faintly. Lyra placed the black stone into a slot. Click, whir. The door opened. Inside, hundreds of glowing memory crystals. Rows and rows, each holding a secret, but only one was marked with the symbol of the matriarch. Lyra reached for it. Just then, a loud blast rocked the vault. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ryan turned. "They found us." Lyra clutched the crystal. "We have what we need. But we won't get a second chance." Alarms screamed across the old vault as the hunters closed in. Ryan raised his weapon. "Then we fight." Far above, in orbit, Elira's sister stared at the sensor feed. Her eyes narrowed. She accessed the vault, the commander said. Sister whispered, "Burn it. Burn it all. I want nothing left." Back in the vault, Ryan and Elira stood shoulder to shoulder as shadows appeared in the hallway, but now, they had the truth, and the truth was dangerous. The archive vault was on fire. Flames licked the walls. Crystals exploded like glass bombs. Smoke choked the air. Elira held the truth crystal tight against her chest, coughing hard. Beside her, Ryan dragged her through the burning hallway, his sleeve on fire. "Go," she shouted. "Leave me." He didn't answer. He just kept pulling. Behind them, the tunnel collapsed with a deafening boom. Minutes earlier, a massive strike from orbit had hit the mountain. Not a warning shot, an execution. Elira's own sister had given the order, destroy the entire archive. If she lives, the Empire dies. Now. Ryan kicked open a rusted service hatch and pushed Elira into the emergency chute. The tunnel was narrow, sliding them downward fast until it spat them out into freezing night air. They tumbled down a snowy hill, coughing and bruised. Above them, fire rained from the sky. Ryan looked at Elira. Her hands were burned, her eyes red, but the crystal was still in her grip. "You still have it?" he asked. She nodded. "I never let go." 10 kilometers away, hidden hangar, an old human scout ship sat under a broken roof, covered in vines and dust. Ryan slammed his hand on the scanner. "Please still work." Beep beep. Click. The door opened. Elira limped inside, falling into the co-pilot seat. "Can this thing fly?" "Let's find out," Ryan muttered. Moments later, engines roared to life. Dust blew in every direction, but as the ship rose into the sky, 2 alien gunships appeared behind them, fast, armed, and angry. "They're locking on." Elira shouted. "I see it," Ryan said, gripping the controls. "Time to dance." The human scout ship rocketed forward, weaving between mountains. Laser blasts chased them, lighting up the sky. Elira worked quickly, linking the truth crystal to the ship's backup drive. "If we die," she said, "this crystal has to live." "Then hold on," Ryan said, spinning the ship into a canyon. In orbit, the commander watched the chase in silence. "Should we destroy them now?" a soldier asked. Elira's sister shook her head. "Let her run. We'll find them again. And next time, I'll kill her myself." Back in the ship, alarms screamed. Systems were failing. 1 wing was hit. "They were falling. I can't hold it." Ryan shouted. Elira reached over, pressed a button, and activated a cloaking pulse. The ship blinked out of view. The gunships lost the target, just as the scout ship crash-landed on a barren moon, skidding across black sand and vanishing behind sharp rocks. Silence returned. Inside the broken ship, Ryan groaned. "We made it?" Elira smiled faintly, blood on her lip. "Barely." He looked at her. "Next stop where that truth needs to be heard." She nodded. And above them, stars watched quietly, knowing change was coming. The wind on Varel's surface didn't blow, it whispered. Ryan and Elira stood in the dust, staring at a massive stone door half buried in the black sand. Strange symbols were carved deep into it, glowing faintly, as if the stone itself still remembered something. "This is it," Elira whispered. Her voice sounded smaller than usual, almost afraid. "This vault was built long before my people ever came here. We only found it by accident. And my family wanted it kept silent." Ryan brushed sand off the doorway. "What's inside?" Elira looked down at the crystal in her hand. Proof, not just of lies, but of something older, something terrifying. She placed the crystal into a hidden slot. The ground trembled. With a deep, ancient groan, the stone door slid open, revealing a narrow staircase leading underground. The air that rose up smelled cold like metal, ash, and forgotten time. They entered. Inside, The vault of virile blue lights flickered along the walls. The steps led them to a round chamber filled with strange machines, alien writing, and a single object at the center, a tall pedestal, with something floating above it, a memory core, glowing, whispering. Ryan stared at it. Is that the weapon? No. Elira said, it's worse. She reached out and the core touched her palm. Instantly, the chamber reacted. Holograms burst to life around them. Images flickered in the air. Earth cities, ancient alien wars, secret meetings in darkness. A voice echoed Elira's mother, the matriarch. The humans must never know. That vault must remain hidden. The artifact must be buried beneath their planet, locked beneath blood and war. Another voice, Elira's sister. If anyone finds out, we will lose everything. Bury her. End. This. Ryan stepped back, stunned. They didn't start a war by accident. They started it to hide this? Elira nodded, tears in her eyes. They lied to their people, to me, to everyone. Suddenly, the vault lights turned red. Security systems activated. They know we're here. Ryan shouted. Lira downloaded the entire memory core to a portable drive. Then we take this truth and burn their lies to the ground. Meanwhile, back in orbit, Elira's sister stood at the front of her warship. The vault is breached, an officer said. The sister smiled coldly. Send the Reaper. If they escape with the truth, the Empire falls. Back in the vault, the ceiling began to crack. Elira gripped the drive tightly. We need a ship. Now Ryan nodded. There's an old jump pod buried near here. If we survive the launch, it'll take us straight to the Terran Alliance station. Elira looked at him, fire in her eyes. Then we show the galaxy what truth really looks like. The stars above burned brighter than usual, as if the universe itself was watching. Ryan stood at the edge of the Terran Alliance Council chamber. Dust still clung to his jacket. Blood dried on his temple. His right hand held a small drive. Next. To him, Elira stood tall, her silver skin bruised but proud. Her eyes locked on the council, then up to the massive broadcast screen above. She spoke first. My people buried me alive to stop this truth, but I'm still breathing. The room fell silent. The message she was about to show would reach every system in the galaxy. 12 hours earlier, the escape, the ancient vault exploded behind them as the jump pod launched into orbit. The blast threw black sand across the sky like shattered glass. Inside the pod, Ryan passed out from blood loss. Elira stayed awake, holding his hand the entire flight. We didn't survive just to stay silent, she whispered to herself. Now back in the present, memory recording began. The matriarch's voice echoed from the speakers. The war is a cover. Earth must burn so the artifact stays buried. No peace, no survivors. Gasps filled the council room. Shock, rage, fear. Ryan stepped forward. Billions died for a lie. And she, he nodded at Elira, was left to rot in a grave because she told the truth. On the Empire's flagship, Elira's sister stood, watching the same broadcast. Her hands shook. Shut it down. She barked. Jam the signal. Too late. Across thousands of systems, screens lit up with the truth. Soldiers paused mid-march. Civilians stared at their walls, hearing what they were never meant to hear. Empires don't fall from bombs. They fall from secrets. Revealed. Back in the chamber, Lyra took a shaky breath. I don't expect forgiveness from any side. But if there's hope for peace, it starts with truth. A long silence. Then clapping. First one, then many. Soon, the room was filled with standing applause. Ryan looked at her. You did it. Elira looked back at him. No, she said softly. We did. Weeks later, Ryan visited a small graveyard on Earth. He stood by an empty plot with no name. Elira walked up beside him. They tried to bury me here too. she said. That Ryan smiled. Well, now we bury the past and build something better. She reached out and held his hand. The stars above were no longer watching. They were waiting.